My beloved child, listen deeply to what I am placing within your heart today. For there are delays that are no longer harmless pauses, but have become soft cords wrapped around your steps. At first, you called it caution. Then you called it waiting for the right time. After that, you called it needing more signs, more confirmation, more certainty. But I see what is truly happening beneath those words. You have grown accustomed to taking shelter in hesitation, because there you do not have to face risk. You do not have to make a decision. You do not have to step out of what is familiar. Yet, my child, there are doors that do not open to the one who only stands watching from afar. There are blessings that are not placed into hands closed by fear. There are promises that must be answered with a step, even if that step is still trembling. I do not blame you for having been afraid. I know the years have taught you to be cautious. I know there were times when you hoped and were disappointed, times when you trusted and were wounded, times when you began something with all your zeal and in the end had to gather the broken pieces of yourself in silence. I do not take those things lightly. I do not ignore your history. But I also do not want the past to become the silent master deciding your future for you. What happened can teach you wisdom, but it must not be allowed to imprison you in immobility. A wound can make you more careful, but it has no right to make you stop daring to live, daring to trust, daring to obey, and daring to step into the new land I have prepared. You often ask me to show you the way, but when I place a step before you, you ask once again whether it is truly I who am leading you. You ask for light, but when the light shines upon the path you must take, you lower your eyes and look more at the fear in your heart than at my hand reaching out to you. You ask for a sign, and when the sign comes in the form of an opportunity, a reminder, a prompting in peace, you say perhaps you should wait a little longer. Beloved child, I do not want you to live in reckless haste, but neither do I want you to use the name of carefulness to cover avoidance. There is a waiting that is born from faith, and there is a waiting that is born from fear. The waiting of faith makes you stronger, brighter, and deeper, but the delay of fear makes you smaller and smaller, causes you to doubt yourself more and more, and draws you farther from the courage I have planted within you. My timing is not like human haste, but neither is it like the delay created by the unrest in your heart. I have a season for sowing, a season for waiting, a season for growing, and a season for harvesting. When the harvest season arrives, and you still stand at the edge of the field because you are afraid to take up the sickle, it is not that I have not given, but that you have not entered the rhythm of what I am doing. Look carefully. Is there something I have reminded you of many times, yet you have still left it untouched? Is there a call you need to make? An apology you need to speak? A habit you need to begin? A door you need to knock on? A decision you need to make firmly? A release you keep postponing to another day? You do not need to do everything in one day, but you do need to stop being indifferent to the call that keeps repeating within your heart. Remember Abraham when I called him to leave what was familiar and go to a land he had never seen. I did not spread the entire map before him. I did not explain every turn, every strange night, every season of waiting, every lesson along the way. I simply called, and he had to step. That first step separated him from his old life and brought him into a story greater than himself. If he had remained standing still, demanding to see every piece of evidence, waiting until his heart was completely free from anxiety before going, he would not have entered the inheritance I had prepared for him. Do you see? Faith is not always a strong feeling in the heart. Many times, faith is a small action taken while the heart is still trembling. Yet the eyes remain fixed on the one who leads the way. Therefore, I am calling you out of the soft bed of delay. It appears safe, but in truth it is causing you to lose the life within you. It promises you that if you wait longer, you will avoid mistakes, but it does not tell you that while you wait endlessly, sacred opportunities may also pass by. It makes you think you are protecting yourself, but in reality, it is making you grow accustomed to missing what was meant for you. I do not want you to live a life of looking back and wondering what might have happened if only you had been braver. I want you to live in obedience today, with what you have, in the light you have received, under the grace that is sustaining you, step by step. Do not be afraid that one small step is not enough. In my hands, one small step can open an entire path. One word spoken at the right time can heal a relationship. One application sent out can begin a new season. One habit begun can restore your strength. One decision to leave what is wrong can make way for peace to return. 1 hour given to what has been entrusted to you can become the first stone of a work that you will later look back on with tears of gratitude. The adversary wants you to think that if you cannot do everything perfectly, it is better to do nothing at all. But I teach you something different. Begin with faithfulness, and I will add strength, wisdom, companions, doors, and clarity as you walk. I know you still want to be more certain. You want to be free from fear, free from mistakes, free from being misunderstood, free from failure. But beloved child, maturity does not come by standing outside every risk. It comes when you learn to walk with me amid the things that are not yet completely clear. I am not telling you to rush into darkness. I am telling you to walk in the portion of light that has been given. You do not need to know the whole road in order to obey the next step. You do not need to have enough strength for the next 10 years in order to do what is right today. My grace is often given step by step, like daily bread, like water along the journey, like a lamp bright enough to illuminate the nearest stretch of road before you. So stop negotiating with fear. Do not let it sit at the table of decision as though it were your faithful counselor. Fear can speak very cleverly, very reasonably, and very much like wisdom. But its fruit is paralysis. My voice, however, may require you to step out of the familiar, but its fruit is deep peace, life, expansion, and awakened faith. Bring all your plans before me. But once you have recognized what is right, stand up, do your part, make the call that needs to be made. Write the first line, ask for help, close the door that needs to be closed, begin again, forgive, learn, care for your body and your mind. Sow what is good in the place I show you. Do not wait until every feeling agrees before you obey, because there are feelings that are only healed after you have already begun to walk. My beloved child, quiet your heart and receive this word with gentle faith, not with the haste of emotion, nor with the fear of being left behind. I am drawing near to you with a tenderness that only a listening heart can recognize. Perhaps the room around you is still the same. The road before you has not yet changed, and the sounds outside continue as they were. But within you, I am preparing a holy stillness. It is the place where noise recedes, where worries stop crowding in, where the peace of heaven begins to settle over you like soft mist upon a field in the early morning. You do not need to strain in order to feel me. You only need to open your heart. I do not come to frighten you. I come to remind you that you have never been forgotten. In recent days, you have carried more than you have spoken. There are wearinesses that do not show clearly on your face, tears that do not fall, yet still weigh heavily upon your heart. Prayers you have lifted in such silence that even you have wondered whether they were heard. I heard them. I was there in every quiet space between your breaths. I saw the nights when you tried to keep yourself from falling apart, to the mornings when you woke up, even though your heart was not ready. The moments when you wanted to let go, but still chose to take one small step. You thought that journey was only endurance. But in my eyes, it was the mark of faithfulness written in tears, in patience, and in a perseverance that heaven does not take lightly. Now I want you to understand that the peace being placed within your heart is not a passing feeling meant to comfort you temporarily. It is a sign of my presence covering you. When I draw near, you do not always hear thunder or see great movements on the outside. Many times, I come like warmth surrounding a heart made cold by weariness, like light entering a room that has grown used to darkness, like the hand of a father resting upon the shoulder of a child who has walked a long road. My messengers are sent not to astonish you, but to serve my loving purpose for your life. They stand in obedience, and I am the one who preserves, upholds, and leads you out of seasons that seem to have no way through. But beloved child, before you rejoice because a new season is opening, I want you to look back on the old journey with healed eyes. Do not call the painful years useless. Do not call the days of waiting wasted. Do not call the detours failure. There are things within you that can only be deepened when you walk through places where no one applauds. There are strengths that are born only in silence. There are prayers that seem delayed, but in truth I was using them to realign your heart, so that you would not only seek blessing, but seek me. You passed through fire, but the fire did not consume you. You passed through deep waters, but the waters did not sweep you away. You passed through seasons that seemed unable to bring forth anything new. Yet I still preserved a hidden seed of life within you. Remember Elijah in the moment when he was weary beneath the broom tree. He had once been strong and had stood before many great things. But there came a time when he was so exhausted that he no longer wanted to continue. I did not rebuke him with harsh words. I did not force him to rise immediately to prove his faithfulness. I sent an angel to touch him, gave him bread and water, and allowed him to rest. Do you see? Sometimes my visitation does not begin with a great command, but with very tender care. I know when you need to be urged forward, but I also know when you need to be nourished. I know when you need to fight, but I also know when you need to lie down under my covering and receive new strength. Therefore, when I tell you that the difficult season is making room for a new restoration, do not understand it as an empty promise meant to soothe your emotions. I am speaking to the deepest part of you, the place that has waited too long to be revived. My restoration is not merely a change in outward circumstances. I will touch the way you see yourself. I will soften the places within your heart that have dried because of disappointment. I will heal the wounds that made you doubt love. I will teach you to receive joy without fearing that it will be taken away. I will renew hope, not the fragile kind that depends on what the eyes can see, but hope deeply rooted in my faithfulness. You also need to know that not everyone will understand what I am doing in you. Some will look at you through the old measure, calling your renewal a passing emotion, your peace, imagination, your progress too early or too late. But you do not need to bring every sacred thing out to convince those who are not ready to see. There are things I reveal to you so that you may keep them in your heart, nurture them through prayer, and walk them out in quiet obedience. Not every seed must be exposed to the wind. Some young shoots need hidden soil, time, and protection until they are strong enough to rise into the light. Do not let fear cause you to miss this comfort. Do not let doubt make you turn away from what I am giving. I do not come to you by force. I come with love. I am not saying that you must feel everything intensely for it to be called faith. There are times when faith is simply sitting still before me and saying, I do not understand everything, but I still open my heart. There are times when faith means letting tears fall without shame. There are times when faith is rest, deep breathing, and believing that I am still working even when you do not yet see the outcome. You do not need to create my presence. You only need to recognize that I am already near. I want to rescue you from burdens that do not belong to you. I want to restore the parts of you that have been worn down by waiting too long. I want to renew your mind so that old accusations no longer rule the way you see your life. I want to remind you that you are still loved, still called, still held in my merciful hands. Not one sincere prayer of yours has fallen into forgetfulness. Not one faithful season has been erased from heaven's memory. Not one wound is so deep that my mercy cannot reach it. You have gone through much, but you have not reached the end of the story I am writing for you. So in this hour, let your heart become quiet. Release the need to understand everything immediately. Stop asking whether you are worthy of being visited, healed, and allowed to begin again. You are my child, and my love is not a reward for the perfect. It is a stream for the one who knows how to open the heart. Let peace cover you like wide wings. Let hope be kindled again in the place that had grown cold. Let my light enter the rooms within you that you locked because of pain. I am near, nearer than your fear, nearer than your sorrowful memories, nearer than the question for which you have not yet found an answer. My beloved child, let this word sink into your heart like dew falling upon thirsty ground. Nothing in this changing life can shake my love for you, and no event has enough power to cut you off from the care I have placed over your life. What you see with your eyes may confuse you. The noises around you may disturb your mind. Unexpected circumstances may slow your steps. But do not let your heart forget that, above all these changes, my hand is still guiding you. I do not love you with a fragile love that depends on sunny or rainy days. I do not provide for you according to passing emotion. I am your Father, and what I have preserved will not be lost in chaos. What I have promised will not be blown away by the winds of life. What I have begun in you will not be abandoned halfway. There are days when you wake and your heart feels light, as though everything can be overcome. But there are also other days when worry stands at the door very early, when questions gather like thick clouds, when you look at responsibilities, needs, and the future, and wonder whether you have enough strength to continue. I know those hours. I do not blame you because you tremble. I do not distance myself from you because you sometimes feel weak, but I invite you to look higher than the thing that frightens you. Clouds may hide the sun for a while, but clouds cannot erase the sun from the sky. In the same way, fear may cloud your sense of me, but it cannot make me absent. Anxiety may make you feel alone, but it cannot sever the presence of mine that is covering you. Therefore, learn to live each day like a song of gratitude, not because everything is perfect, but because I remain faithful amid what is still unfinished. Gratitude does not wait until the table is full before it lifts its voice. Gratitude knows how to recognize the small piece of bread, the breath that remains, a kind person who crosses your path, a door not yet opened while hope still remains, a difficult night followed by morning. When you learn to give thanks for the small things, your eyes will gradually be healed to see signs of grace everywhere. Sometimes a miracle does not arrive with a great sound, but in sudden peace in the middle of a confusing day, in strength just enough to do what must be done, in a word of encouragement arriving at the right moment, in the fact that you did not give up, even though yesterday you thought you could not continue. I want you to walk with a strong spirit, but that strength is not a hard appearance that forces you to hide all your tears. True strength is knowing how to lean on me when your heart is no longer steady enough. True strength is still choosing what is good when you are tired, still keeping gentle words when you are tested, still opening your heart to hope when life has disappointed you before. You do not need to prove you are strong by carrying everything alone. Let me lift what is too heavy. Let me teach you to distinguish between what you need to do and what you need to surrender back to me. There are burdens you carry not because I gave them to you, but because you are afraid that if you put them down, everything will fall apart. But my child, your world does not stand firm because of your control. It is upheld by my grace. Remember the story of my people as they journeyed through the wilderness. They did not have great storehouses in their hands. No clear map for each day. No guarantee in the way human beings usually demand. But every morning, what was needed was given. Not so they could store it up in fear, but so they could learn to trust day by day. I taught them that my provision does not always come far in advance, so the human heart does not have to trust. Many times it comes at the right moment. Enough for the present step. Enough for today. Enough for them to know that their Father had not forgotten them in the barren place. So it is with you. Perhaps you want to see the entire road, the entire answer, all the resources for the years ahead. But I often lead you with light just sufficient for the next step, so that each step you take becomes a declaration that you trust me more than you trust fear. So do not despise ordinary days. Do not think that I am only working when something great happens. I am arranging things even in what is quiet, a meeting that seems accidental, a delay that seems inconvenient, a closed door so you do not enter a place not meant for you, a gentle prompting in your heart drawing you toward peace. My order rises above what your eyes can measure. There are things you call interruptions, but from my perspective, they are protection. There are things you call losses, but I am using them to create space for something better. There are things you call delays, but I am causing your roots to sink deeper before your branches spread wider. Keep your heart open, but do not let it drift with every voice. Open your heart to what is good, to healing, to pure connections, to opportunities I send, to the new joy knocking at the door. But at the same time, place your heart within wisdom. An open heart does not mean an unguarded heart. You can love life and still know how to choose your path. You can trust people and still listen to the discernment I place within you. You can hope without denying the lessons of the past. I do not want you to live in a naivete that is easily swept away. Nor do I want you to live in cold defensiveness. I want you to live as one who is loved, tender yet steady, open yet discerning, humble yet not self-belittling. When worry comes, do not quickly treat it as truth. Look at it as a cloud passing across the sky. It may darken the space for a moment, but it has no right to define your whole day. Ask your heart, is this voice leading me closer to me, or pulling me into a spiral of confusion? Is this thought helping me act in peace, or making me paralyzed? If it only brings fear, lay it down before me. You do not need to wrestle every worry in your own strength. Bring each thing to me. The bill you do not yet know how to pay. The relationship you do not yet know how to mend. The health concern weighing on you. The future you cannot yet see clearly. The decision about which you still hesitate. I do not grow tired of hearing you. I am not weary when you return, again and again. A merciful Father does not send you away when you need to be held. Beloved child, let each day become a small altar of trust. When you wake, give that day to me before you give it to worry. When you work, work with uprightness and peace. When you rest, rest as one who knows you are not the one holding the whole universe in your hands. When the unexpected comes, pause for a moment and remember that I am still there. When you receive a blessing, however small, let gratitude make it brighter. When you stumble, rise in grace. Do not remain lying beneath the shadow of self-blame. I am not looking for a life in you that never trembles. I am nurturing in you a life that knows how to return to me in every season. Then you will see that the more you place your trust in me, the less you are ruled by what is visible. Not because you no longer face trials, but because trials no longer sit on the throne of your mind. Not because you no longer have needs, but because you know the source of your provision does not run dry. Not because you no longer have questions, but because you have learned how to live in my arms even before the answer arrives. That peace is a quiet miracle. It does not always change every circumstance in a single moment, but it changes the way you stand within the circumstance. It makes your back straighter, your breath deeper, your words gentler, and your heart no longer carried away by every gust of wind. So keep walking, my child. Walk with hands not clenched in fear of loss, but open to receive and to give. Walk with a heart not frozen by the past, but warmed by hope. Walk with eyes that recognize that behind the things not yet clear, there is still a loving arrangement. I am in your today, not only in distant dreams. I am in the small thing you are doing, in quiet courage, in the very soft prayer, in the gratitude just beginning to rise. Believe that my love does not waver. My provision does not run dry, and you are not abandoned in the middle of life. The clouds will pass, but the light I have for you remains. Keep going, beloved child. For every step you place in faith will become a note in the song of praise I am writing upon your life. I know you want to see the whole road ahead. You want to know when everything will become lighter, when the pain will ease, when the things you have prayed for will take shape. But beloved child, if I showed you every turn at once, your heart might be more overwhelmed than peaceful. I often lead you with light just enough for the next step, so you may learn to live near me day by day. When you cannot see far, take hold of what is near. When you do not understand the whole plan, be faithful with the portion entrusted to you today. When you do not have the strength to run, walk. When you cannot walk, stand. When you cannot stand, let me carry you in my mercy. No form of weakness in you surprises me, and no moment of weariness causes me to stop loving you. Also be careful with the words of pain. Pain often tells you that everything will always remain this way, that you have been forgotten, that others are moving forward while you are stuck, that this delay is the end. But pain is not the prophet of your future. It is only the echo of what you are enduring in the present. Let my voice be greater. I say that you are still being led. I say this season has meaning. I say the tears you shed are not wasted. I say your weakness does not disqualify you, but becomes the place where my grace supports you more clearly. Let my word heal the way you interpret your trials, because when you see the season you are passing through incorrectly, you will lose the treasure hidden within it. There are things I am teaching you that ease could never teach. I am teaching you to love others more deeply, because one who has suffered will not be quick to judge another person's pain. I am teaching you greater humility, because one who has been upheld will not boast as though they stood by their own strength. I am teaching you to wait without bitterness, to pray without despair, to rejoice in small things without despising ordinary days. I am enlarging your heart, not through cold lessons, but through a loving refinement. You may not like the process, but one day you will look back and realize that those very turns made you softer, wiser, and able to comfort those walking through the road you once walked. So when you find yourself in darkness, do not be quick to fear. Look up. The night sky does not only speak of darkness, it also reveals the stars. And I am placing within you rays of light that do not need favorable circumstances in order to shine. It is the light of faith that does not surrender. the light of hope that is not extinguished, the light of love that still chooses what is good even after being wounded, the light of a heart that has passed through great winds and still has not become hardened. You do not need to make yourself shine by your own strength. Stay close to me, and my light will be reflected through you in a natural, pure, and enduring way. I am here, my child, in this very trial. I am here, in the room where you thought you were alone. I am here, in the tear that is not yet dried, in the prayer that has not yet become words, in the step that still hesitates. I am still here. I hold your hand not only to bring you out of difficulty, but also to teach you that you can pass through difficulty without losing peace. I will not let the trial define you. I will use it to brighten the goodness I have placed within you. Trust me once more. Breathe deeply in my presence. Let your heart rest in this truth. You are not walking alone. You have not been forgotten, and you are not being destroyed. You are being shaped, refined, and guided, and step by step, you will become the beautiful version I lovingly saw before you even recognized yourself.